They were pariahs in the Jamaican music business because they wouldn't follow the system, submit to the system. So everybody said you can't deal with them because they're impossible, etc., etc. But I gave them the money to go make the record.
No sun will shine in my day to day. No sun will shine. The high yellow moon won't come out to play.
Catch a Fire was the first Jamaican album to be marketed like the rock acts in Blackwell's stable. Novelty cover, guaranteed to break within 20 minutes, extra lead guitar, and a proper band. Their follow-up album even had the lyrics printed on the inside, the ultimate accolade for a rock album.
What had been ingrained in them is a single for radio. What they wanted to do was to get something on the R&B charts in America because that would be their route to success. And I was going a completely other route. I said, forget about that. American black market could be less interested in Jamaican music. The people who are interested in the white liberal kids, people who are interested in the culture and what the lyrics are and what you have to say.
I've got to pick myself from off the ground.
What happened is that black folks weren't turned on to the Rastafarian doctrine because Rastas were someone to look down on. So when the Wailers came to the UK with our young Ras, our image, those folks who left Jamaica as black people who had a kind of a stigma where Rastas were concerned, they were turned off of the Wailers completely. It's because the Beatles had an image that was left in the minds of the white folks in London that said a lot of hair on their head that caught an attention for the Wailers. The hippies loved us. And all those hippies now are dreadlock people hailing Haile Selassie, Rastafari.
The rock audience began to buy into the dreadlocked, ganja-smoking outlaw image of the Wailers. And when guitar god Eric Clapton had a worldwide smash hit with a cover of I Shot the Sheriff, Marley never looked back. Marley's success took roots music out of Jamaica and made it known across the globe.
I think the kind of music, what we were dealing with, carrying that kind of musical spice, it's something about the music. Once you hear that music, it takes all of your body and it takes all of your mind. It takes all of your thought, it takes all of everything, based upon you as an individual, or the people, or a person. The music, it's something like a gravity, like a magnet. It insists to hold on to you.
The Mighty Diamonds, the Gladiators and Culture all had success in Britain as a new generation of fans got to grips with mysteriously named artists like Ijaman Levi, Iroy and Prince Farai. The language of Rastafari was now for sale on your local high street.
I will sing unto thee, O Jah, among the nations. For thy mercies are higher than the heaven above, and the truth reaches out into the land. A fool says in his heart, there is no God. say, fool says in his heart, there is no God. For the wise men reach out.
We build now like all the house of Jade. Because the Jade, them love it. And you know, then the daughter, them must scrub it and start flashing nuts now. That's the biggest reaction, man.
The naughty Jade, them love it. And the sister, them love it. Canati Jade, like Jade. Move ya down in the house of Jade. Canati Jade, like Jade.
I am a Rasta man.
Down in the house of Jade. In and him gone so. And him kick so him pass so.
In the early 60s, no. Them time the people no like no Rasta at all. People on the whole don't like your family's Rasta. You know? Even when I start going my years, my people, my grandmother, which are them people that I grow with, and man, they look for me and tell me, hey, don't come up into my yard and talk about no Rasta. Right? I say, watch this. I don't have to come up from the yard, you know.
Culturally, the influence is so strong that now, you know, the international recognition, the recognition by the intellectuals is there now that this is a resistance movement that use a very unique way of expressing their truth.
So do you remember the days of slavery? So do you remember the days of slavery? And the beat of Slevito.
As roots and Rasta became widespread across the island, Jamaica began to sing about its past. It was the rediscovery of 400 years of a folk culture that went back to Africa. They sung of their ancestors, the Maroons, the escaped slaves who ruled the hills.
When we say country, as it relates to Jamaica, it's totally different to what you think of country. It's a weary kind of thing. And these people are people who have to climb hills to plant their food, bring home woods for fire on their heads, crocus bags of food on their backs, and they have to come home and fetch water to be able to cook. So I'm telling you that my exposure to the country was like I dealt directly with the relics and slave retentions.
Well, my family, my mother's mother, is a direct descendant from the Maroon. Well, the Maroon rebelled against the British, and they were also ancient people from Africa who brought ancient traditions over here and still maintain certain traditions like the Jankono and certain festivities that are linked direct to the motherland.
Coming from a country where you learn the things like you don't learn to depend on family and all of that, you know. You go out and you plant your own corn and you watch the corn grow. When corn grow, you pick your own corn, you know what I mean?
Yes.
All of them fruits on them tree, you can get them, you know? So...
It's a little different, though, in town.
Yeah.
You know, you got to do different things to eat, eh?
Well, when you're in a city, it's a whole different ball game, you know.
One day you are dreadlocks. Well,
By the mid-70s, tensions in the city were rising unbearably. A beleaguered Michael Manley, beset by financial problems and undermined by the CIA, began to distance himself from his more revolutionary ideals. Rasta was one of the first casualties.
You know, the locks are very dramatic to look at from a theatrical point of view. It's marvelous, you know, it's very exciting. But I would imagine that if you were an employer who has been brought up in a tradition of a tidy-looking staff who is there to meet the public, that there might be a sort of hesitancy about employing a person who insists on appearing in that way.
Somewhere along the line, them lose it. Them lose it somewhere and gone back, right back, and then them lose. There's something about politics that change even God into devil.
And if a righteousness, yes, a righteous way, melt away, melt away, melt away.
I migrated to the United States. I made a mistake by singing the wrong song, and I was being evicted out of the island. So I went to the United States. I lived there for 18 years.
The rude boy gangs of the 60s were now the henchmen of the political parties. Dabbling in politics became a dangerous game for independent voices like Rasta.
Violence is destructive and degrading. Please help in every possible way to make this general election campaign a peaceful one.
In the lead-up to the 1976 election, the violence escalated into running gun battles on the streets of Kingston. Bob Marley decided to play a concert calling for all parties to lay down their weapons. No one was listening.
I'm said lodge inside there.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You never saw the gunman?
Well, at that time, no.
But you know who did it?
Yeah, I know them.
Were they caught?
No, but I don't court the police. Just, you know, one of them things.
He reaches where he throwed where I'm afraid to. He got shot. I didn't. I'm not that brave to face the gun. He was brave. Much braver than I was. That's why he is what he is. And I am what I am. I'm alive.
The concert took place 2 days after the shooting, but Bob Marley still decided to appear.
Until that day, the African continent will not know peace. We Africans will fight, we find it necessary. We know we shall win. We are confident in the victory of good over evil.
The shooting and concert effectively turned Bob Marley into a prophet for his millions of fans around the world. But Marley lived in Kingston, and he could see when things were too hot. He was out of Jamaica within 2 weeks and didn't come back for 18 months.
So you must respect your brother.
He moved to London, where he found a vigorous roots scene.
There was a serious identification crisis happening in Handsworth and in various black communities throughout England at the time. It was a case where we had parents coming from Jamaica that never told us about the history of Jamaica. We were learning about ourselves through the music, because we definitely weren't learning it at school. So we sort of gravitated more to the music. At the time, it was a lot of Bob Marley songs played, the Abyssinians played, and Burning Spear.